welcome back to the AM Club podcast.
It's been a minute. It's been a while, but we're back. You know, better than ever, bigger than ever, and I can't say richer than ever. I mean, that's a little braggadocious, huh? We've added some change, but mostly experience and knowledge. That's what we're here to kind of communicate to you. You know,
we're doing better than we were previously.
Yes, that's for sure. We're making some sushi and have plans to continue to make more.
Yeah.
And
so
if you don't know what that is, look it up.
That's Japanese for numbers.
Yeah.
So doing numbers, making numbers. And speaking of numbers,
What do we got?
I don't really know. Do we want to talk about just entrepreneurship, a little bit of an update, kind of just spitball it here and talk about kind of what we've been experiencing and what we've learned? You know, I think you guys can tell we got a couch. We still have the same beautiful backdrop. Shout out to a young, lovely lady.
Is she?
I
can't say that. I wasn't gonna say the part that you're thinking I was saying.
No,
but
he's right. That's why I hesitated to say what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say, is she young?
Oh, I was gonna say she's lovely.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. I knew you were gonna say that.
That's crazy.
But she's older than us, huh?
Yeah, she's in her 30s.
Yeah. So not as young as us, but still relatively young. You know, young enough.
Hey man, I'm not gonna lie. It feels a lot better to be podcasting from the couch.
It does. A lot more relaxed. You know, you can be able to distribute a message to you confidently, but also comfortably. You know, it's all about confidence and comfortability at the same time. And when I say comfortability, I'm not using that as a means to say that you have to be comfortable in what you're doing. However, if you're gonna podcast and you're gonna talk for hours, you might want to be comfortable. That's all I'm saying.
I was just reading your Jira update.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. It's fine. You know, one thing that we've really been living right now is that there is no finish line. There is no stop. Things keep going and they keep running and they take time. And honestly, it's been sometimes that can be frustrating, but for the most part, it feels great because you know that there's, no matter what happens, there's still something else to do. Whether you perform well or whether you fail, whatever it might be, you always have a chance to redeem yourself because the workload is never ending. And by the same token, you can know that there's always something better in store.
Right. That's actually a very good point because I was thinking about that actually earlier. I was going to say earlier this week. It feels like it's fucking Friday, but it's Tuesday, you know?
Literally Tuesday.
Monday and Tuesday have been a fucking, not a shitstorm, but just busy. I wouldn't say it was bad, just busy with shit. But I will add that in the beginning of things, you think that if you mess up one time, it's like the end all be all. You'll never be successful. You're a failure. You'll never have another opportunity again. And to be honest with you, that's not the case most times. Now, of course, you kind of want to treat it like, you know, you may not have another chance. So you might want to do things and approach things as well and clear-minded as possible. But when you're thinking about doing something new, when you're thinking about experiencing something, you might want to also realize that you have multiple opportunities, you have multiple chances to do certain things. And even if you fail, even if you fuck up this one time, doesn't mean that that's the end for you. Brush yourself off, pick yourself up, and go again. You have multiple shots in this thing called life when it comes to business and entrepreneurship. You can fail a couple times, but that doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means that you failed. It just means that you lost one time. You have multiple opportunities to win again. So take the shot, keep going, and even if you're on a call or you have an email, you have to email this big person who's a millionaire making so much money and you say the wrong thing and they say, hey, I'm not going to do business with you. Well, good luck for you that there's thousands and thousands of more millionaires that you can talk to and refine your craft and preach the message to them, and they might say yes. So there's more fish in the sea and there's more millionaires to email. So...
That was great. Sorry, guys. I had to record a video of that because this was so great that I had to make sure I can replay this.
Now watch. I'm never going to say anything as intelligent ever again. And I only did that just because, the cameras are on. That's why, he was recording. So I was like, okay, I got to say something. Got to seem a little smart here. Now I'm going to go back to being a dumbass. So Jose, please, by all means.
It's not so much that you'll never say something as intelligent again. It's that you will never say something so as unintelligent as that previous statement was. Now, why do I say that? Because from here on out, you can only get better.
There you go. I knew it.
A conversation that we had yesterday evening, which was very interesting, fall sort of in line with this train of thought. And that was that sometimes you feel very, very small. You feel very little, that you haven't progressed anywhere at all. And oftentimes the reason for that is not so much that you haven't progressed, it's that you're comparing yourself to people who are much further along. If you're going to look at Elon Musk and say, how could I compete with Elon Musk? You know, he's so smart. He's so eloquent in the way that he speaks. He understands so many things, and he can amass billion-dollar, trillion-dollar companies. How is it even possible? You know, I can't talk like him. I can't think like him. I can't put things together like him. And it's like, well, first off, Elon is sort of a maverick in and of itself. He's an enigma. Second off, Elon is almost in his 50s now. And he's been an entrepreneur since his teens.
Right.
So, you know, we've only technically been entrepreneurs for a couple of years now. And when we compare ourselves to individuals who are performing very highly, it's very easy to be disheartened. But you have to understand that oftentimes your bar and your standard doesn't take into account the notwithstanding history that everybody else has had. And you have to realize that you have time. Time is in your favor. And yes, I agree that being anxious helps you to start, but being anxious doesn't help you while you're moving, while you're in action, while you're in the motion. I was watching a segment from one of the podcasts that interviewed Tony Hills. If you don't know who Tony Hills is, look up Tony Hills. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion and one of our mentors.
The Tycoon.
Tony the Tycoon. Shout out to Tony the Tycoon. And he said that the first time that he started in a pro game, he was all amped up and hyped up. And the coach pulled him aside and he said, look, it's perfectly well and fine that you're excited, but the celebration happens after the game. Right now, the only thing you need to focus on is the man in front of you and blocking that man and doing your job. And it's the same thing. You can get excited or you can get scared, but there's no room for that when you're moving. Focus on the task at hand, execute, and then worry about everything else.
That's a good point. And it's funny that we had that conversation last night about Elon Musk, because I was just watching a podcast today with Layla Hormozi and this other guy. I forgot his name. It's very specific. I think I have it in my notes here. It's Sharon Srivatsa, I believe.
He's the what is it?
Billionaire guy.
The monk guy, right? He has that book that's like How to Think Like a Monk.
I don't know. You might have to confirm that. I'm not sure. But I believe he was a billionaire guy. I think that's how she kind of introduced him. So very successful guy. And he was talking about how, you know, in certain interviews and whatnot, that Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos will say things like, you know, you can do this too, or, you know, you can get here, you know, as well, and shit like that. And he actually said, he kind of said something different than what I guess the general public would say. He was kind of like, that's bullshit. And they know it's bullshit. They have to say that to you to make you feel better about themselves. But sure, you might be able to, I guess, get that level of success. It's possible, but you're probably not going to do it like how they did it, because you're not them. And when I say that, they're aliens. Like you said, fucking Elon Musk is, you said, a maverick. He's half alien, half human. Fucking Jeff Bezos is super genius, just Tony fucking Stark in reality type of guy. You know, both those two are. And if you think that you're trying to be like that, odds are it's probably not going to work out how you think. But that doesn't mean that you can, you know, not get that same amount of success. You can do that being you. So you have to figure out, when we talk a little bit about this, figure out what you're best at, but also be a master of none when it comes to certain things, or when it comes to things in general. Realize that, okay, you might have, I guess, some aptitude at this specific thing, but that doesn't mean that you can't get better at everything. You can be great at one specific thing. And sure, I believe that's going to be able to land you a job or something like that. But if you want to be a CEO, you want to be a person who founds a company and runs it proficiently and well, you're probably going to have to know a lot about multiple things, or a good amount about multiple things, so you're dangerous enough to be able to talk to it, understand it, and act on it. And these people, though they're just super, super mega wise, and they are just geniuses when it comes to things like space and, astrophysics and supply chain management and things like that, you may not be as just proficient in that, but that means, okay, I can be good at a lot of things. I just have to work towards it, and I can still achieve that same success if I want it. It might take you a little bit longer to catch on to things than them, but it's still doable. So.
Well, and I'm going to be honest with you, not everybody can do it. So there's that factor too. No matter how hard you try, there's a high probability that you're not going to be as fast as Usain Bolt.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
So be realistic in your expectations. I'm not saying level your ambitions, but realize that there are some people that you truly can never beat.
Correct.
And that can be motivating, but it can also be humiliating. And you have to understand it. And I hate to say this. Actually, I do not. Life is about balance.
What? Hey,
I know.
Wow.
I know.
If you know this guy and you know the things that he said to me over the past however long,
like basically
that
2
is
weeks.
the last thing that I would have expected him to say. I'm sorry, my brother. Continue.
No, you're good, man. I know. I'm even shocking myself here, but you'll understand when I put it in this manner. Life is about balance, but it's about balance with regards to how you allocate all of your resources.
Correct.
So you can go spend 100% of your savings and what have you, but I would argue that where's the balance in that? Because in truality, you could just say that I drained my bank account to zero, but from an external perspective, you don't know what you spent your money on. It could be things that you value that bring you either a sense of clarity or help you in your business. It could be tailored suits. It could be watches. It could be courses and seminars that help you build your skills so that you can go sell them and you can perform better. It could be plane tickets to go see people like your mentors or even potential business dealings, where that's what I mean by balance. You can put your chips all in one basket, but you're going to have to find a way to create a balance in it. And the same thing applies when it comes to emotions, because there is a capacity where you can burn the wick or the candle from both ends. However, the question becomes, what's the ultimate goal? Yes, overall, there should be a balance. And that doesn't necessarily mean that in one moment there is a balance. So yes, you do have to sacrifice certain moments. So short-term pain for long-term gain rather than short-term gain for long-term pain. But by the same token, you have to realize that from the grand scheme of things, there has to be a balance. Why are you doing what you're doing? Is it just because you want to be singularly good, or is it because you want to help other people? You want to take care of your family. You want to help the old lady when she can't pay for her groceries and shit like that. What is your goal, and where do you find a way to just have the best positive impact on the most people possible? That's what I mean by balance.
Right. I like that. I like it for sure. And I like what you said as well, where it's like, okay, odds are you're probably not going to beat them. You're probably not going to be as fast as Usain Bolt. You're probably not going to be as great at science as Elon Musk and astrophysics as Elon Musk and shit like that. But here's the thing. We're talking about these people and we're saying you're probably not going to be on their level, or you're probably not going to achieve the things they achieve when it comes to just the crazy amount of success they have. You can't be them. But you also have to think about, they can't be you. Who are you? And who are you going to be? Who are you willing to be? Because the person that you might see yourself to be in the future is going to require a lot of work. But just like Elon Musk and just like Jeff Bezos, when they started out, they worked hard, and now people are looking at them and saying, man, I want to be like them. What will you do in your life to where people are going to say, hey, damn, I want to be like Susie. I want to be like Sarah. I want to be like Jake. I want to be like Paul. I want to be like fucking James or someone like that. You know, I want to be like them. I want to be like you. What are you going to do? Who are you? And that's something that, again, though we can't be those people, we're going to be something. And don't know what that's going to entail. Don't know what things come with that. But I know it's going to happen because on a day in and day out basis, I don't think about, man, I want to be like that person. I think about, I want to be the best me possible. How can I do that? And if you think about that as well, you're one step closer to achieving your goals, because comparison is the thief of joy. So if you want to not only achieve the things that you want to achieve in life, but be a little bit more charismatic along the way, don't look left and right at what other people are doing and say, I want to be like them. Say, how can I be a better me than yesterday? And if you can say that and act on it, you'll get better, and you'll be the person that people will look up to one day and say, damn, I want to be like that person. The AM Club Podcast.
Signing out.
Mic check.
The AM Club Podcast.